Hey, welcome to 2A Cops, Cops Supporting Gun Rights. In this episode, Matt and I are going to talk about what we think are the best weapon systems for people looking to buy a gun for home defense. And we're going to break some of those myths that people often think about home defense weapons.
I have been working at Boise Black Rifle now for about 4.5 months. And I've had a lot of people come in and ask the same question. It's the same question I got asked a lot of times in patrol when I responded to a home break-in. Someone suddenly decides that they need to get a firearm to protect themselves, and that is, what kind of gun is a good gun for home defense? And a lot of people come in with a preconceived notion that's based on really, in my opinion, old school thinking, which is, I need a shotgun for home defense because you don't need to aim it. I've actually literally had people say that's the reason they wanted a shotgun was because they don't need to aim it. That's completely false. In my experience, there are better options than a shotgun. This is not to take away from shotguns. Shotguns are a valuable tool if you know how to use one. But for the average person who wants a gun for home defense, it's not the best choice. I would actually prefer, I recommend either a handgun, something like a 9mm pistol caliber carbine, or a short barrel AR pistol or rifle. I know in my experience as a cop, my department used to use MP5s for entry weapons for the SWAT teams. They eventually went away from the MP5 and they went to 10.5-inch Colt AR short barrel rifles for them, and they were select fire. But for the average homeowner, you can get a AR pistol in the same size. Granted, it won't be select fire for most people, but it's a better option. And one of the reasons they went to that is 5.56 or 223, depending on what ammo you're feeding your gun, has less of a tendency to over-penetrate interior home walls at shallow angles. 90 degrees on, everything's going to go right through the wall. But at a shallow angle, the 5.56 or 9mm, the 5.56 tends to over-penetrate the wall less. It tumbles along the wall. Sorry, yeah,
So you're spot on. What we've done is show our point, because we did the same thing. We changed from MP5s to M4s. I think it's important. What we did is we brought you to a shoot house.
Okay.
And we have every single weapon system that we're talking about, and we're going to bring it inside and show you why one's going to work over the other.
Right. Shotguns are great. They're a devastating tool with when you use the right ammo and you actually hit the person. The downside to shotguns, they don't hold a lot of ammo, most of them. They're very long, they're unwieldy, they're loud, and unless you practice with it, the first round may be easy, but moving beyond that first round, if you've got more than one attacker, or in the real world, when you miss the guy the first time you try to shoot at him, you might run out of ammo with a shotgun, and reloading a shotgun that's empty under stress is not an easy thing to do.
And you're going to see when we come in with a shotgun, we got two shotguns for you. We got an 870 pump, and then we actually have a sawed-off semi-auto shotgun, because people talk about a sawed-off is the best.
Right.
So we brought that for you.
We don't have a side-by-side double-barrel shotgun like Joe Biden recommends.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun, have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun, and I promise you, as I told my wife, we live in an area that's wooded and somewhat secluded. I said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here, or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. I promise you, whoever's ever coming in is not going to, you don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim, it's harder to use, and in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself. Buy a shotgun.
Fire 2 blasts in the air, and they'll run away.
It doesn't work. So one of the things that you're going to see with the shotgun is, working the 870, you're going to have the pumping, right?
Right.
Plus, you're going to have a reload in here. When you actually get into a gunfight with somebody, one of the things you have to worry about, it's different. When you go through it with us on this, you'll see that as we take engaged targets, we'll shoot a couple of rounds and move on. In real life, you're going to shoot somebody if it's not incapacitating, if they're on drugs, if they have some mental issues or what have you. They're not going to go down, and you're going to have to fire multiple shots as they're firing at you. Oh, body armor, great example. And so your 5 rounds in that 870 or that the sawed-off shotty that I brought, that 5 rounds is going to go quick versus your AR with 30 rounds.
Yep.
And
Or even a handgun, like a
Yes.
Glock 19 with 16 rounds in it.
exactly, and we're going to run through all of them. So let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to set up in our shoot house. It's not really a shoot house, but you'll get the idea. And then we're going to do some run throughs so you can see what it looks like. Ready? I'm going to have to run through that again. I f***ed that all up. You ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Out. Clear.
Guns in the closet.
Okay, go. Wait, I'll do that. Help.
Help it! Something.
Ready?
Yeah. Boom! The door breaks open.
Matt, help me! Shit.
I got a shoulder shot, not a head shot. But still, you got rounds into that person, and I didn't, and that ain't stopping that bad guy.
Okay, so in this round, Matt and I both use two shotguns that people typically think are great for self-defense. Matt is running an 870 pump shotgun that is the traditional go-to for everybody, right? I'm carrying a sawed-off shotgun now, or a short-barreled shotgun. Before everybody loses their mind, I have an SOT, so I can have this stuff. But this is the typical, I'm going to get a sawed-off shotgun and go tear it up. Mine's semi-automatic. We wanted to show you the two different ways of going through. As we went through and started clearing the house, I want you to keep in mind that Matt's had patrol training with the shotgun.
I've gone through an advanced shotgun class as well. It was a 2-day class.
And then for me, when I started SWAT, we had a mix of shotguns and MP5 SDs. So I've done entries with a shotgun. I had training in how to do a hostage shot with a shotgun, which can be done. But I haven't done any of this in like 25 years because this is old. This is all old technology.
It's old thinking.
I mean, when we started patrol, we were given shotguns, but there's a reason why everybody has patrol rifles now. And you'll see as we go through and we're doing room clearing, we have training in room clearing. You may not. And you'll notice that as I went through, I actually had a hiccup because one of my rounds failed to fire. Don't know why. But it gave me a hiccup because normally I transition to a pistol to get back in the fight. But we wanted to make this realistic for you guys where you're just going to pick your shotgun up and go save your wife, go save your kids, whatever.
So talking about that as well, both Keith and I have what's called a side saddle on the sides of our shotgun that carries spare ammo. You buy a shotgun off the rack, most of them don't come with that. So I would have had 4 rounds in the tube, and that's it.
And so,
which is what I started out with when Keith did the help Bad, whatever he did to get me going. I simulated grabbing the shotgun out of a closet or out of the corner of your room and racking it.
And so when I came in, I didn't transition, and it screwed me up because I'm used to transitioning because my training told me to. So we went and did another run again because I just didn't feel comfortable with it, which you don't get in real life. And when I came,
no do-overs?
No do-overs, man.
Time out.
There's no, what are they? Or no respawn. No respawn.
No respawn in RL.
So when I came through again, you'll notice that when I came into one room, we didn't do this by design. We did it because that's just the way it worked out. I had 2 rounds and 2 targets, but I'm double tapping everything. I shot the first target. That other guy would have killed me easily because he's on my hard corner and I hadn't got there yet because I'm sweeping over to my hard corner and I'm taking care of an immediate threat. So I've got to stop and now I've got to reload. And your reloads on a shotgun take forever. So at the very end, we had a hostage shot. I had training on hostage shot, so I actually cleared the distance and then took the shot. I'm telling you, you may not have time to clear the distance. With an AR, you don't have to clear that distance, meaning going up to the target to take the shot. Matt has not had training on hostage rescue with a shotgun.
Correct.
And so you did it like a homeowner would do it.
And that's what my thought was. I'm going through this like as if I'm a homeowner. I'm, you around the corner, there's a bad guy pointing a gun at you, you shoot at him. Except in that case, he happened to be holding, say, one of my kids as a hostage or my wife.
Exactly. And now you may not feel comfortable to take a hostage shot. I can tell you right now with a shotgun hostage shot, I'll do it in here. But if somebody was holding my wife hostage, I wouldn't take the shot because it's been 25 years since I practiced that because shotguns are only good. I don't want to say there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be mad because we're saying shotguns are only good for breaching, right? But shotgun is a tool. Shotgun's a tool in a tool chest.
Right.
But you have a lot better tools to clear your house than the shotgun.
Correct. There are places where I would choose a shotgun, but home defense is not one of them.
No. And so
and we're not just we're talking bird shot in a shoot house. In real life, if I've got double-aught buck in my house, I got to worry about where all 8 of those 32 caliber lead pellets are going. And if I miss that guy, or hell, even if I hit him, I might have a round. Even with a good hit, you still may not hit him with all the rounds that are in the gun, or all the projectiles leaving the gun at one time. And now you got to worry about where that projectile's going. Yeah. Is it going to go through the wall and hit my kid on the other side of the wall?
There's the reason why you want that rifle is strategic accuracy.
Correct.
And you're basically a surgeon with a knife, and you're taking precision shots, even though it's on the run. The most important thing here, training. You can't just buy it and then that's it. And I know it's hard right now with a huge ammo shortage. We're telling you to buy an AR, which is going to be you're going to pay a top price for, but you're buying this for a reason. Why are you making do? I can guarantee you when you're in a gunfight in your house, you're not going to want to make do. So.
And you can't just buy the gun and run it as it comes either, because you're going to have to put some sort of sighting system on it. You don't want to run with iron sights. If you're going to be doing something like this on a shotgun, there's not much of sighting system as it is. But on a rifle or a handgun, you're going to want to put a light on it. You're going to want to put some sort of optic on it so that you can walk around your house with 2 eyes open and still take a precision shot. And you want a light on it because most times if something goes bump in the night, it's night. And so you need a light so you can identify your target. You don't want to come around the corner and see somebody standing there and shoot, and oh crap, that was my wife or my kid.
Exactly.
You got to be able to ID your targets. You can't just shoot willy-nilly.
Exactly. So next up, we're going to run it with a pistol. You want to do a pistol next?
Sure, we'll do the pistol next.
So a pistol is, we think it's a good option. You should definitely buy, a good quality pistol.
High point yeet cannon, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you bring the yeet cannon?
I do have a high point yeet cannon, just because it only cost $100 at the time. It cost $100 dealer price, and I just wanted to see how bad it was, and boy was it bad.
I'll be running this with the Glock 19, which is probably one of the top selling concealed home defense handguns in the United States right now.
And I gotta tell you, we recommend Glock. We're not like total Glock fanboys. We actually have a lot of different guns, but the reason why we like Glock,
it works every time.
It works every time, and you can beat the hell out of it, and it's still working. There's only like 32 parts or something like that in a Glock. There's not much to it, and it's super easy for just a beginner. You literally pick it up and pull the trigger. So, let's make that run, see what happens.
All right. There's that headshot. A lot different than with a shotgun.
Clear. All right. So on this run, Matt ran a Glock.
It's a Glock 19.
There you go.
It's got a Streamlight TLR1, a very old one of the first generation. But in a home, you know, the new one puts out 1,000 lumens. This one's like 200. In your home, 200 lumens is all you need. Especially since you know your home. All you're looking for is to be able to identify bad guys. Granted, it's daylight out here, so I didn't need to use my light. At night in your house, you're going to want a light. So there's my light.
And so with me, I actually used our cameraman's SIG P220. He's actually our target audience. So Rich is a combat vet, and he's coming out to help us. But he has a SIG P220. I remember when he bought this when he was a young man, and he actually went to the police academy with this, I think, right? Yep. And so it carries
Seven
in the mag.
One in the original mags, and the newer mags are 8+, or 8.
So I ran with 7 rounds in each mag. It doesn't have a pick rail, so I can't attach a flashlight. You can get like a really old school, I had one on SWAT where you pull out the takedown pin and you can attach an old school flashlight to it. But I had to go old school where I had to cross over, was it the
FBI hold, isn't that the FBI is the...
That's right, they're up like this. I can't remember what this...
I can't remember what that's called
It's
either.
been so long since we've had to do that because every modern person has a pistol mounted
light on it.
So I had to go old school like this, which unfortunately I'm losing the recoil is, you know, I'm not able to control it because I don't have 2 hands on my weapon. And you'll notice when I went through and started clearing the house, I actually ran out of ammo with a target. I got 1 round into him, which we know from real life 1 round's not going to be enough because you know, the guy could be on drugs, have body armor, have all these other issues. And I had to do a mag reload because I'm keeping it real. My mag is in my pocket, which most homeowners actually aren't going to.
You're not going to have a spare
They're not
mag.
going to grab an extra mag. So I actually had to eject it, put it in, all while holding my flashlight, and then get back on target, put another round into him, and continue on. When it came time for the hostage shot at the end, I was really nervous about that. In real life, I wouldn't have taken it, but hey, this is training, so we're going to give it a try. I didn't feel good because now I'm having to take a headshot on somebody next to my loved one while I'm shaking like this from adrenaline and haven't practiced in a while. And so I got to tell you, I stopped carrying a SIG P226 about 15 years ago when we went to
I carried a 220, and I stopped carrying that 15 years ago as well, and I went to the Glock as well.
Exactly, and we went to Glocks because, hey, the SIG P226 is a great gun. We're not bashing SIG, but like times have changed. And we're bringing this up because this is a gun that somebody would see on arms list, gun broker. They don't have a ton of money and they're like, I'm going to buy that one because it's a 45. And I have a 45 because they don't make a 46. And you can
Talk about that in all seriousness, because I love shooting 45s, but I don't carry one for defensive for a reason. No matter how good, how badass the 45 is, they limit the capacity compared to a similar size 9mm handgun. If you got the same size gun, the 9mm is going to carry almost twice as many rounds.
And the other thing with the 9mm, if you get the right ammunition, that round is going to expand.
Federal HST, Winchester XST, or XST? XST. They both expand to almost the same size as a 45 expands. I went through a class, we actually shot a bunch of rounds into ballistic gel, and we had 45, 40, and 9. And the difference, once that thing expanded, was minimal.
Exactly. And look,
what kills you faster, the more rounds, the more holes in the guy, unless it's a headshot that kills the CNS there at the base of his skull. More holes in a guy are going to bleed out faster than one big hole.
And we know we're going to offend people with what we're saying, but our experience is based off of, you know,
Law enforcement shootings. Also, you know, the stuff that we've been involved in, plus actually going and seeing people use self-defense. Now, I had a self-defense shooting that I handled where and we were talking about this earlier, the guy staggered hollow points and ball. So every other round was a hollow point. And now, why do people do that? I don't know, but there's some, like, people are going around. There's like a train of thought, and I don't know where it comes from, that they want to stagger the rounds. They want to have a hollow point followed by a ball round, and I don't know what their thinking is beyond that. Because a good hollow point is going to perform better than a ball round in any scenario.
And the guy that he was shooting lived because he had a malfunction, because he had a crappy gun, that he was staggering like really good ammo with really crappy ammo, and the gun couldn't take it because the gun just wasn't designed well enough. And the suspect lived because he's on drugs.
He probably got hit with ball.
And they ended up having a big shootout in a gas station.
Yeah.
So we're bringing this up because this is what we've seen, and we're trying to help the new gun buyer.
And it's not just hollow point ammo. You got to get good quality hollow point ammo too. They're
Exactly.
Spear Gold Dot, Hornady, Critical Defense, Critical Duty, Federal HST, Winchester XST. SIG's got their own line of ammo now, and I can't remember what it's called. But there's good quality hollow point ammo, and then there's just like training hollow point, which Federal makes some shitty hollow points. It's for training. It's not something you would use in a defensive scenario. We used to have a bunch of it at the range, and I don't know why they make training hollow point, but they do.
So next up, we're going to make a run with an AR platform. We're using a PWS Mark 111. PWS is an Idaho company, based just a couple miles from where we are, and we like their platform. But we're going to make a run through here just so you can see what the difference is between pistol and now rifle.
Right, and then there's other reasons to think about too. Is not just defending inside your home, but if something goes on and you are, it's more than one bad guy, and you got a bad guy outside, or you got to take a long shot. You got a really long hallway in your home. It's much easier to take a long shot with a long gun than it is with a handgun, especially under stress with adrenaline going and all that other stuff that's going to happen that you're going to have to deal with in a real life scenario where a bad guy just broke into your house.
All right, let's roll with that AR.
Oh, wait.
Nope, that's perfect. Real life, you're going to have to turn your EOTech on.
All right, ready?
Right by an aim point.
Ready.
Clear. See right there.
Okay.
Okay, so we on this test we're running the PWS primary weapon system Mark 111. It's an 11-inch AR pistol.
It's a brace, not a stock.
And when I first went, it was funny. I stopped because I forgot to turn my EOTech on.
Right.
Now, I am using a super old school EOTech. It still works just fine.
And I like EOTechs.
I do.
I knock them only because of battery life and because they turn themselves off.
And so with an EOTech, you're going to have to turn it on before you go. And I forgot to turn it on before I came in. So I said, wait, let me turn it on, which you don't have that in real life.
So in my shooting on duty, I had an EOTech on my gun and it had timed out.
Oh, no.
So when I first pulled it up and I fired the rounds through my windshield, my EOTech was off. I was using it just like you did in here as a giant rear reticle. And I had a fixed front sight post, so I was using that. And
yeah, and the rest is history.
And then I turned it on later, and then everything else. But those first, that's one of those things. When shit hits the fan, you're not going to remember to turn the damn thing on.
Yeah.
So you get, as much as I like EOTechs, I took it off my gun after that and bought an aim point because the aim point's battery life, and it won't turn off. It's like 50,000 hours of battery life, and it never turns itself off.
So now in a small place like this, I've practiced enough. I actually did a run a couple of weeks ago in this same place, shooting just like we did. And I forgot to turn my EOTech on, and I said, screw it, I'm just going to keep going. And I was still hitting every target.
You can make those hits.
At these distances, I was hitting everything I wanted to get because it's intuitive.
Right.
You know, if you train enough and you keep doing it, it's intuitive.
Right.
You'll notice that when I did the hostage shot, on the go from the farthest point possible, and I did 2 rounds. Really, only need 1, but I did 2 just because I was so in tune to doing double taps. But I hit it on the run, on the move, at the farthest point possible, and hit my target exactly where I had wanted to hit it.
Right, chin area.
And,
on a headshot.
Yeah, and it was a little low, but that's okay. I forgot to do my mechanical deviation. So,
so couple pluses to using a long gun. You got that better accuracy. It's more stable when you're moving. With a handgun, that your arms are bouncing more. With the long gun, you can be more stable. You got places to put a light. You got better optics, sighting systems than you do with a handgun with just iron sights. Granted, nowadays you can get a handgun and you can put a red dot on it. That's not an uncommon thing nowadays, for that matter.
And now the other thing I'm
carrying a red handgun with a red dot on it.
And here I'm also running a silencer. It's a Sandman K, a dead air Sandman K. I chose the K model. We're actually going to do another video on the difference between the different Sandman models. But I like this because I'm still wearing hearing protection. But when I come in here, it just takes enough of the edge off of that 11-inch barrel to really make it comfortable in a home.
Yeah, in a real life scenario, you don't have time to throw your ears on. This is going to make it to where you can still function and stuff,
and not blow your ears out. But again, that's not something somebody brand new is going to buy for their home.
Right.
But
and you might even be in a state where they're not legal.
Sorry, California.
We both came from a state where they're not legal. So
and you can move just like us back to the United States to
only
get the
if
stuff
you vote correctly.
Yeah.
Talking about other things, 30-round magazine in an AR. Unless you got an extremely extended magazine for your pistol, they don't have 30-round mags. Most guns do not come with a 30-round mag. Glock makes a 33-round mag. Amend 2 makes a 34-round Glock mag. There's other guns they make high cap mags for, and I say high cap, that's actually beyond the standard capacity for the Glocks. That's why it's a high cap.
Yeah.
But that's a standard capacity magazine for an AR-15, a 30-round mag. So you got 30 rounds without ever having to reload. That's a whole lot of bad guys or a whole lot of really bad misses.
Yeah. So the whole thing out of all this, what we want you to take away is we're trying to take away the myth of buying that shotgun because that's the best home defense thing ever. What we're trying to do is we're trying to show you, look, buy a high capacity magazine, pistol, and go to like an AR type platform. You can do MP5, you can do Scorpion, you can do what CMMG makes that
the Banshee.
The Banshee. It's a 9mm.
There's a lot of Glock, a lot of AR 9mm ARs that use Glock mags. CMMG makes one that uses SIG 320 mags for the guys who carry SIG 320s. There's a lot of options out there.
So our point is get the shotgun out of your head, and you need to be looking. Personally, I'm a fan of ARs. There's a reason why all the SWAT teams have gone to them.
Correct.
Because in a modern home, it's your best bet. I have an MP5. I have it just because that's what I had a long time ago. But you ain't going to see me clearing my house with it. I'm going to be picking this up and
my
clearing
go-to
my house.
gun that's next to my bed. I've got a 11-inch barreled AR in 5.56, and sitting right next to it, depending on what I feel like grabbing at the time, I've got a 8.5-inch barreled 300 blackout AR. So everything functions the same. It's just a different round that goes through the gun.
And look, again, where we're coming up with this is from our experience, from the assignments we've held, from the shootings we've gone to, from the shootings we've been in,
The training classes.
to everything. It's the training that we give others. It's it's based on all these experiences. We talk to cops that have been multiple shootings all over. We've all been to this ourselves. This is where we're coming from.
Right.
This isn't from the battlefield of Iraq or Afghanistan. This is in your home, in the United States.
And if you want to throw in battlefield Afghanistan, they're not carrying 20-inch ARs anymore. They're not carrying the M16A1s or A2s. They're carrying M4s. They went to a smaller gun that's more compact for when they're going through buildings, clearing buildings. There's a reason for shorter barreled guns.
And you can see how fast I went with an 11-inch AR. As I was going, I noticed that Rich, our cameraman, was trying to keep up, but I was moving through here because I'm doing it like my life depends on it. And part of that is speed, surprise, and violence of action. It's how fast you can go. You go as fast as you can communicate and as fast as you can shoot.
Yeah, but if you're solo, you're not communicating.
Yeah.
So it speeds things up.
You're going as fast as you can walk and shoot. Right. So if you practice a lot, you can go a lot faster. And again, it's speed, surprise, violence of action.
And there's another thing too. This is, by the time you've gone through with your AR, we've been through this a bunch of times. The targets haven't moved and everything else. But guess what? You're home. You know the layout of your house. You know where hiding places are. You know who you expect to be in there. And so it's not unreasonable to think that you can move through your house that quickly and clear rooms.
And if you're not taking your empty rifle that's verified clear and clearing your house with your family members, you really need to think twice.
By with your family members, we're talking like behind you,
Behind
not
us.
hiding in
Yep.
rooms and pointing guns at people.
Or even like in my house, don't come to my house. For us, we have everybody has a weapon accessible to them from wherever they're going to be in the house. We know how to communicate because as a family, we've trained. We come up here and we shoot here. We move. We communicate. We know link ups. We have our own code words, that we use to link up. And if somebody were to come, I still get death threats today. You can go on 2A Cops and look at the latest nut job, that says,
Dude, but weed makes you nice and mellow. It doesn't make you want to kill people. Oh, but it does.
And one day somebody's going to show up to my house and hopefully they don't use this video, my investigation. But look, you need to have your family in on this.
Yeah.
Yes, you have your family in on this, and have your family, have them shooting, have them know what to expect. So when it pops off, and I'll give you an example. There was a shooting in California. There was a shooting directly behind my home. I backed up to a street. We heard the gunshots go off at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a drive-by of the house directly behind us. And when the shots were going off, I woke up. I was thinking I was having a bad work dream again. And I woke up and I'm like, fuck, that's real. And I called out our code word for everybody that it's going down. My wife and I were armed. The kids were up and ready. And we were ready to go. It just wasn't meant to be at our house. We're just looking for that guy.
9mm versus 5.56. The reason that SWAT teams have gone to AR platforms for entry weapons is because the 5.56 or 223 does not overpenetrate at shallower angles like an AR does. A 5.56 will break up on impact with the sheetrock, or it will tumble through the sheetrock sideways. Whereas a 9mm tends to punch through sheetrock even at shallow angles.
And you want to use the proper 5.56 ammo as well when you're doing it. So
I say 223 because there's a lot of guys that may have had an AR that's been laying around for a long time. To my knowledge, I have not seen, for that matter, every AR we have in stock and the ones that we have sold in the months that I have worked at the gun store, they have all been 5.56. I have not seen a barrel marked 223 in 10 years.
Yeah. I have one though. I've got one.
I've got one as well.
223. So,
and I've got 223 ammo, but you can run that in your 5.56. But run good ammo. Don't run. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, don't run crap. Don't run green tip. Don't run the green tip ammo, which is got a solid core in it. And you go through because that thing's going to go through like everything.
Run for Spear Gold Dot makes great 223 5.56 loadouts. Yeah. There are other ammo out there. Buy defensive ammo and load your gun with that. And don't just load the gun with it, but practice with it at least once or twice, just to make sure your gun can function it reliably. Yeah. There are guns out there that are picky about ammo, so you need to make sure what you're running through that gun will function with that gun.
Yeah. All right, that's it. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and hit us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to look at some of our other videos. We've got more content coming out every day. And most importantly, follow the 2A Cops podcast. We talk about stuff constantly. We just talked about red flag laws and what the problems with red flag laws on the police side. But you can catch all that stuff, and we'll put the links in the notes below. Take care.
7-11-22 to Kenny. 8300. 8362, 28 to a vehicle, 9